A social media photography project, Everyday Africa, has launched a book featuring hundreds of photographs by 30 of the project's contributors. These pictures capture a range of moments in life that are shifting misinformed perceptions of the continent.
The Everyday Africa project is a collective of photographers capturing daily life on a continent long portrayed in international mediums as sick, poor and lawless. It was created in 2012 by Peter DeCampo and Austin Merrill, both journalists living in Africa, as a way to change the narrative and go beyond stereotypes. The book, which features 267 photographs by 30 photographers, was officially launched at the French Cultural Center in Kenya's capital, Nairobi.
Instagram is always changing, and we just wanted to sort of collect what we've done so far, the work of these stellar 30 photographers. And you know, in making a book, it's not just about the photography. We've also included the comments people leave on Instagram and so on, sort of the good, the bad, the ugly. And the idea there is that we're also preserving how people feel about Africa right now at this time and how people communicate today via social media.
Everyday Africa's Instagram feed now has over 325,000 followers, and its founders say it has inspired similar initiatives around the world, like Everyday Iraq and Bronx. Some of the book's contributing photographers had a chance to interact with fans and critics of their work.
Sometimes there are some moments that I will see, and I have to wait and for the right, moment, and then photograph it. So, I mean, I would say the challenges sometimes comes from letting people feel comfortable with you, to be able to bring out your camera and take a photo of them, and then sometimes having to explain to them why you're taking the photo.
The exhibition of photographs will go on for 90 days, and organizers say they have invited local schools and children from slum areas of the city to come in and talk about reimagining their continent, as well as comment on what they see and feel about the images. Everyday Africa has also inspired a theatre and dance movement with Kenyan artists based on the images and comments on the photographs. The collection has already been exhibited in New York, and the founders are working with the established members to help mentor up and coming photographers.
On that note, we'll welcome you to our Africa Tech segment. In spite of efforts made by the government to improve energy supply in Nigeria, the country continues to experience the problem of inadequate power supply. As various needs for energy supply differs from person to person, some have looked for alternative ways to provide power for themselves. One of such people is the CEO and founder, Sokohali Center for Technology Innovation, Dr. Iro Anele, who has invented a concept which he calls zero electric air conditioning. He joins us now on the program to tell us more about his new invention. Welcome to Network Africa.
Welcome.
Well, so tell us more about this new concept you call the zero electric air conditioning.
Okay. So what I have is to the zero electric air conditioner, first of all, to put it in context. Zero electric there means that the chemistry that creates the cooling effect does not require electricity to be powered. By contrast, when you compare it to a vapor compression air conditioner, which is what we use now for refrigeration and air conditioning, the chemistry that generates the cold requires an enormous amount of electricity, because first it has to be the refrigerants have to be compressed with an electric motor that is very, very powerful, and it has to do this all day long. So what I have done is to move away from using electrical power to generate the cooling effect, but instead find materials in nature, that do it more naturally and more powerfully and more efficiently without any cost to us in terms of electricity. And I think that when we have to look at the past again in context too, and more critically, when you look at the vapor compression air conditioner and the path that it takes to power it, then you see the problem. Let me explain that part. First, we burn something. oil, gas, coal, whatever. And then we convert the heat of that substance, to kinetic energy, right? Something that turns a wheel. And then we convert that kinetic energy to electrical energy, right? And then we transport that electrical energy, right, through power lines. In all of this process, we're losing efficiency. We're losing a lot of the energy that has been generated. Then finally, it makes it to our home. And then when it does make it to our home, having lost most of it, right, we then convert it to mechanical energy, right, and then convert it to chemical energy in order to get any cooling at all. So essentially, the world has been spending all our resources, right, wasting heat in order to create heat. That's not necessary, and that's why we have problems. So if the solution that we're seeking is to continue to generate enough power to power this error, I think it's an error, right? Then we will never get there because, it's like chasing your shadow. So I think that the world made an error when we did not look closely to see whether there are ways of achieving comfort without heat in the way that we have currently used it. And so that's what I have done, to look at materials. And I have formulated a number of materials together and, merge their collective intelligence, to do the work that air conditioners do, but this time around to do it more efficiently. Now, I have also added plants, all right? Because we have to ask ourselves in nature, how do we even achieve comfort? How does the earth achieve comfort? How do the human beings and the animals and everything that exists in nature that generates heat achieve comfort? These are the questions I asked myself. And when I answered those questions, I realized that they achieve comfort naturally, right? Through evaporation of water, okay? Through the emittance of the heat in their body. So I have now learned from nature, I learned from the earth, right? And I have formulated a combination of plants and materials, relying on material science and horticulture or biological sciences to create a composite that would ensure a microclimate in your home consistently that costs you no electric power.
Yes, indeed,
so,
Dr. Iro Anile, that sounds like a very interesting innovation. Of course, we wish you all the very best with it. But thank you so much for being a part of our program. And of course, have yourself a great weekend. And that's today's program. Thank you so much for watching. I am Bisi Adebayo.